Okay, so Sam Spence, Bandit Brothers Martial Arts here in Bloomington, Illinois. Gonna touch on our hourglass footwork, okay? We're gonna utilize the same sort of concept of combining a mobile female triangle and a mobile male triangle. This time, instead of in a diamond pattern, you flip the points of the diamond in on themselves and you've got an hourglass shape. So we've been starting quite a bit on going off on the left laterally, so that's how I'm gonna start this. Is I step lateral, I slide over lateral, I step up, now I'm in the center point of the hourglass, I step up again, then over, back. Now, I still have one more side of that initial triangle, okay? So, if you notice, I do one side of the triangle, the other side of the triangle. Instead of getting the third side of it, I start on the next side, and I get all three of those done, then I finish out this last one. So what ends up happening is you end up with sort of a step, slide, step, shuffle, right? Step, slide, step, shuffle on the diagonal lines of this hourglass. So we have our shuffle advance, which is step, slide, step, 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 step, slide, step. Now I can switch my leads and it'll be step, slide, and step, step, slide, and step. Now I'm exaggerating my steps so you can kind of see it a little easier. But it should be step, slide, step, step, slide, step, step, slide, step, step, slide, step. Okay? Now, if I do this again slow, I have a lateral line, then a step, then a slide, then a step. Then I slide up again. Then I slide lateral, then I step, slide, step. And then I slide this back again to finish it out. Lateral line, step, slide, step, and then lateral line, step, slide, step. Okay? So again, I'm working the lateral triangle, or lateral aspect of the triangle first. Okay? And that would be me doing this starting going forward, or using female footwork triangle to go up on the full mobile male triangle. I mentioned this in a previous video. If I were doing this on my own, normally what I would do is just turn my back, but you don't have to, because with the hourglass, I now step over here. Now I go back on the male triangle line, all the way back here to this corner, sliding up, stepping up, and sliding over. Over, back, slide, step back, then over, step, slide, step, up. And now we're working our hourglass on the lower, I guess, hemisphere, right? So if I start here on this line, that would be me going forward first. But if I start here on this line, now that's me going backward first. Now, I could do this where I have two of these illustrations laid out. And the way that would work would be if I start over here, that way I don't trip over my sticks here. I step over, I step, slide, step, I step over, I step, slide, step. Now I have the other one going backwards, so I go over, step, slide, step, I go over, step, slide, step. Now, that's a lot, right? And if you're actually needing to see the imagery, all you do is you just take another one of these and stack it right on top. Make your little elevator button where you have the secondary line right here, and you just layer these. If you get a bunch of these layered and stacked side by side, my instructor, Guru Scott Petrie, used to call it the Argyle pattern, because you'd have hourglasses down the wall, or down the floor there. So anyway, I have stepping over first, and then going forward, and then I have stepping over first, and then going backward on my left. I can do the same on the right. And I do over here, and I go back, over here, and I go forward. If you do this right, you should end up in that center hub, sort of the bottom right corner of this hourglass here in your upper left side. The hourglass here in your upper right, you're in the bottom left corner of it, and obviously it would just kind of continue. So I have a northern hemisphere, a southern hemisphere, and then I have the left and the right side of each. So I should be in the center. I should be in the center of the world, right? So we have our left, going forward. And we have our left going back. Right going forward. And right going back. Right back to where I started. Now, if you end up like 6 inches, a foot away from where you started, it's not the end of the world. Just like I mentioned before in the previous videos, you should be swinging your sticks. You should also be playing with the distance of your steps. So instead of it being here, 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 and these big, long, drawn-out steps, I should also be able to go much faster and much tighter with my footwork, making this a bit more of an athletic endeavor and a bit more of a more realistic combative endeavor. No one in their right mind is going to stand there while you're doing all this sweet footwork dance in front of them. Okay? So make sure you can start off super slow like I've been demoing it. Nice and easy, drawing your feet, doing this sweep where you slide your foot even all the way together, which you wouldn't want to do. But make sure you start off at that pace. And once you have the pattern locked in, where you don't even have to think about it, then you start picking up the pace. Then you start shortening your step. Then you start adding things to it. So that's the important part of this. Now, the other thing you can do is instead of starting on one of the bottom corners or the top corners of your hourglass, you can start dead center in the hourglass where the two triangles meet. So now at this point here, I can step up on a 45 and bring it back on what was a mobile female triangle, back on the 45, and bring it right back to the center on what was a mobile male triangle. I step up on my left, slide over, slide back, step back on my left, slide over, slide up. Then I do the same on the opposite side, to the right, to the left, and back, back to the right, over to the left, and up. So now we have our hourglass starting from the center of the hourglass instead of one of the 4 corners. So step up and over, and then step up and back. I'm back in the center. So you just play your games, switching directions at any point. Just make sure you don't leave out any of the sides of these 2 triangles that we have now joined together in holy matrimony. Now we're just running hourglasses. Remember, incorporate proper mechanics with your leaning. Switching your directions. Playing triangles on both sides. All right, so I hope that helps. I hope that gives you a fair amount of different shapes to play with your feet. We've been doing a lot of angular attacks and haven't done a ton on circling. So that'll be our next sort of footwork set that we start adding, is the circling aspects. Now, I mentioned in a previous video, at any point in time, as you're running through these, all it takes is one lateral line to completely change where you're at. But all you need to do is remember where you are at, or don't, and just be able to pick up all these shapes that you've already got, right? So if you put the time in on just a straight mobile triangle on both sides, this is a mobile male, when I'm working my hourglass and I happen to drop this step back, well, now where am I? Well, I can work my mobile male triangle back to a starting point, right? Or if I'm working my hourglass and I drop this leg back, I can work my mobile triangle and I'm back on this starting point. So once you develop this sort of understanding of space and the different ways that your body can move, it's a really great way of understanding when you're off balance. All you need to do is just drop back and then regain your feet, regain your range, and keep going from there. So it's a great way of, once you get an understanding, I gotta keep saying that because it's not gonna happen overnight. You have to put the reps in. When you drop your lead, when you switch leads, it shouldn't be as big of a deal for you because you have put the time in switching your leads back and forth and getting your base comfortable with all of these patterns that we've been working. So by combining them all, we are able to get this a much more efficient platform in which to fire from, right? So instead of me being off balance, off base, now, no matter which foot is forward, no matter which way my body's going, I know what I need to do in order to get back to a comfortable place to fire or defend, okay? So I hope this helps. It really has helped my game the more I put into the footwork. Without the footwork, you're going to struggle. So you can do all these cool fancy things all day long with your weapons, with your empty hands, but the footwork is what wins it for you. So thank you very much.